Peace, peace. How you guys doing? It's your boy Free Play, and we're back with another video. Just wanted to get on here and kind of talk to you guys again a little bit about the things that have been going on in my mind about the state of the music industry, I would say, and just also the state of like the producer and what's going on with technology and the future, kind of. Like, I don't know if you guys or if it's just me, but I feel like there's a shift happening right now. There's some changes that are happening in the industry, in the producer community, and I'm curious to see what comes of it. And let me know, some of you guys have been, leaving feedback and just commentary in the comments, and I read everything, and it really helps think of the next conversation or the next video that I'm gonna make. And these last string of videos have been very interesting to me because the way that I view this channel is kind of just a way to document and journal my thoughts, my process, because it all has to do with creativity, and I was reading the description that I wrote a couple of years ago about the channel, and basically about my goal with the channel. I started thinking about it, and when I started this channel, initially I was like, all right, I'm gonna make a YouTube channel about how I make beats, and people love, seeing other people's process because I like to watch other creatives make music. And I wanted to do that also. I wanted to share my process. I wanted to teach as well. I feel like in another life, I was a teacher maybe, or I almost actually went into education after college. But I wanted to teach people how to use the ASR and the MPC, and kind of covered things that I couldn't find myself on YouTube. I old enough to have lived through when YouTube started, and always liked the platform because you could find anything. You could find a movie on there. You could find a video about fixing a car. I watch videos about that sometimes. You could find videos about somebody building something, and my uncle watches videos like that sometimes. And I think it's actually the future because people appreciate long form content, and even content like this, right? When somebody's talking, somebody that you could kind of relate to or has the same interests as you. And, I watch random videos about watches, about gear, about cameras, about samplers. And some of them are, marketing. Others are informative. But I've always seen the potential since the start of YouTube of being a platform where we could educate others with what we know and maybe guide them so that they could avoid some of the pitfalls that we've come across, some of the wisdom that we could share, because I didn't see enough of that, right? And again, I saw it from the beginning, so obviously it's gonna take time for all of this stuff to be there. And a comment that stood out to me was just a video that I did about the ASR and going into the technicalities of it. I'm not sure what video it was. I would have to go back into the analytics to see it, but somebody left a comment like, please never take these great videos down. And I'm sure it was something about the ASR 10. And that comment stood out to me because that's the point. That's the point of my channel. It's just like you finding value, right? Like finding something that's like, I couldn't have found that somewhere else. And I think we're over the age of gatekeeping, I hope, because anything that I know and that I could teach or put somebody onto, I'll do it. I'll do it on this channel, hopefully. And it's an easier way for me to reach more people instead of like doing one-on-one with somebody that wants to learn, I guess I could just put it out there. And even when I try to fix something or do something, I try to document some of it. Sometimes I don't. Like I build a little pedal rig, and I'll show it to you guys on this channel. It's a very simple rig of pedals. Like I mentioned, I've been playing guitar a lot, and I probably should have recorded that, and maybe somebody would have got value off of that. Lately, I've been building a camera rig, and I'm into shooting. I've always been into cameras. Now that I look back, I've always been into cameras and gear, and I think a lot of us creatives, that's what we that's what we do, right? We like to build things. We like novelty. We like new toys. All of this stuff to me, they're like toys, and this. I hope it's in focus. This is a toy, but they're like serious adult toys or just toys, right? Like this is like Legos, but and it's crazy. Like I mentioned before, like the power of this small thing. And again, this channel is not sponsored. I bought this with my own money, but I'm always amazed at like how this is pretty much, like I mentioned before, a mini MPC 2000 XL, and they were able to fit it like into the size of an iPad. And I guess in an iPad you could, but I think the genius behind this was that people were missing the tactile feeling. Nobody wants to. I mean, most of us creatives, we don't want to touch glass all the time. We have a phone. We're always looking at a screen, and this brought that back, and that's, to me, that's genius. Like teenage engineering doesn't even, from what I've heard, doesn't even consider themselves, their ethos is like they're more of an engineering company, or a design company, rather than like they're not just like Moog or Yamaha. I mean, Yamaha's a bad example because they make everything, but they're not like a Kai, right, where they just make samplers, or they make, they have great musical gear, but that's not all they do. And I like that about them. Obviously some of their stuff is out of my, like, not my price range. I would say it's just not worth it to me. I'm not saying that it's not worth it to have what is it, the OP1 and the new one that they came out with. And that's kind of like me avoiding gas, but it's also it's also very expensive. So I do believe that sometimes if we're gonna make super huge purchases, it better be something that really adds to your workflow. Would I love to explore it and like play and tinker with it? Of course. I'm a creative. I'm gonna always want some novelty in my creative process. Um, and I think I did mess around with the OGOP1 when I was doing an internship at a studio. There was a kid that came in with one, and I was like, oh wow, like, because they were very smart when they were initially marketing it. Like I used to see like the OG Travis Scott Instagram page, like with him on a plane with the OP1, and I'm like, oh, what is that? That looks interesting. And then found out what it was. So they were like, I think they were giving it maybe to artists to place it in the field, and or maybe not. Maybe people were actually buying it, but it was just always like $2,000. I could buy a Juno, a vintage Juno with that, and or any other thing that I would want, maybe a preamp or a compressor. So I'm, like I mentioned before, I'm very intentional and frugal sometimes with my gear purchases, but I do like to buy new gear. Like I bought this microphone. I've been buying things for the new camera for the channel, and bringing that out has been fun. And you never could run out. That's kind of like also the state of the producer community. Like you could never run out of new things that you want or need or could buy. You could go every day and buy something new, and there is value sometimes to that, right? I don't think like consumption or consumerism is the problem. I think sometimes like having too many options could be the problem, but just buy what you can afford, right? And then buy something that complements or fills gaps in your process. Like I mentioned before, like I couldn't sample melodically in the MPC, so I got the ASR, and I kind of stopped there. Like I don't consider myself a collector by any means, and I've joined the MPC groups on Facebook, and I see people have like 7, 10 MPCs, and that's cool. Like if you have the space, the money to do that, by all means, I'm not knocking it. You work hard and earn your money, and spend it however you want. That's just not why I buy gear, to like have each one of them. And I've never been a collector of anything really, like maybe vinyl now, but or maybe in a way we are all collectors, right? We collect certain things like microphones. I got a couple microphones. Do I collect them? I look at them as tools. I don't have them like on a shelf and like all pretty, and I dust off my MPC. It's here now because I'm actually gonna build out my studio in the living room again. I do it every so often. So after maybe like, I don't like to get too personal on the channel, but I used to, live with my girlfriend, and then I moved back home. My father passed away, as I mentioned before, a couple of years ago. Not a couple of years ago. Well, yeah, 2024 November. And I've been taking care of my mom, but she's also like in the Dominican Republic now. So every so often when she leaves for months at a time, I'll set up in the living room again. And if not, I'll have my studio in my room. So it's just me and her usually, and then if she's not here, it's just me by myself. And I take the opportunity to kind of like, I love a living room studio, no acoustic treatment, just like the natural acoustics of the house that I grew up in, pretty much, and reflections. I like the sound of a living room, which is where I'm at now. And whenever I get the chance to build out the studio here, it's like kind of like I've also like rented Airbnbs and worked on projects, or have gone to Colorado. Shout out my boy Devani, who I work with, and I met at the studio when I first started interning. We've been friends already for like almost 15 years, but I'll go visit him. He's originally from Colorado, and I'll go visit him, and we'll set up a studio in his basement or in his living room. And I think a lot of people do that now. I see that on the social media or YouTube all the time. And there's nothing like an untreated, like just go put a studio wherever you feel creative, right? Or wherever you feel like it's gonna inspire you, and there's more space. Like I like that, the open space. I like having the kitchen right there and be able to like play back whatever I'm working on. And I'm sure a lot of artists, a lot of creatives could relate. But yeah, so the MPC is here. I'm starting to slowly bring things out, and I've been working a lot. I just finished a series that I was on, and now I have a little bit more time to set that up. And I'm gonna be making videos, of course, about me making beats on the ASR, on the MPC, and in the DAWs. And there's gonna be more of that. But I also want to use this platform to communicate my train of thought, ask you guys questions, be interactive, and participate in the community in that sense, because I do feel like there's value in content like this, where we get to like just talk, be, you know, just be expressive about what's going on and some of the things we're thinking of. I know I could be all over the place sometimes, but I do want to kind of like have a subject matter that's somewhat intentional. And what I started with was like, do you guys also feel like the state of music is in a weird place, or in an interesting place? I don't want to give it like I don't want to give it something negative or positive. I just kind of want to like explore that subject with you guys, like AI, right? There's AI in everything now. Cameras have AI. Logic has AI, plugins have AI, and there's the whole subject with Suno and other AI things like stem splitting. So I think that the rise of that is going to obviously affect whether we like it or not the creative process, right? It's going to impact how we approach creativity and how things sound. Like there was a guy that went viral, or I think, I don't know what to believe anymore. That's another thing about AI. It makes you question everything now. You see photos of people, and you don't know if they're real or not, or people placed in certain situations, and it's just so much of that is causing like this overload, I think, for me at least, where I'm just like, what's gonna be the outcome of this? Where things obviously got too easy. Shout out DJ Khaled when he's like too easy. And it's just like I do question like what's gonna happen, but I do think that there is an advantage that we don't see yet because of this saturation or oversaturation, I would say, of AI stuff and so much perfection. I think we are going to see a return to the raw, to the real, to the non AI stuff, right? And that's the point too of my videos like this, where I looked at the awful video that I did with the channel update. At least I think it was bad. But I'm like, we don't need to be perfect. We don't need to cut things. Sometimes I'll watch a 20-minute video. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll skip it. But what's the point? Like, if somebody wants to go forward, I'm not instructing anyone here in this video. Like, I'm not showing you how to do something. So there really isn't a point for me to like be so efficient or like get to the point already. No, like you either watch this and you like these types of conversations or you don't. And I've seen my subscriber count go up and down, and somebody unfollow me after or unsubscribe after I posted like a bad video or a video that was too long. And I don't care. I don't know the person, and it personally doesn't affect me. So it doesn't matter. Like I haven't been algorithm chasing. I stopped posting for a while because I was going through the loss of, and I was grieving my father and going through that with my family. Now I feel a little bit more comfortable getting in front of the camera and talking to you guys again. And this is the way that I came back. Like I want to ease my way back into it and talk about what I think and what goes through my mind as a person. Like this channel is not just about like, oh, NPC ASR niche. Oh, let me niche down. And I think we're over that, or we're stepping into that. And that's what I feel. Even music, like, back to that, it's just like it got too perfect, too auto-tune, too much melodyne, too much, Jay-Z was right when he made the death of auto-tune. And I think we're back, he's always been ahead of his time, but I think we're back at that point where it's just like people are gonna want somebody with a guitar really singing with no pitch correction. They don't care if it sounds horrible. They don't care if this video sucks. They just want to know that it's you. And that should be inspirational to you guys to stop being so perfect or thinking that you have to be perfect, right? Like if there's anything you take away from this is to just do it. Just create, get your ideas out, because you don't know who you're helping, who you're inspiring, who looks up to just the way that you express yourself, the way that you look, even though that may be vain, but just put yourself out there if that's what you feel called to do. Stop waiting for the right moment. Before I had a camera, I was filming on my iPhone, and I was just like, let me just get these thoughts and these ideas out there. And if I have a video that I want to make, or an idea for a video that I want to make, and I want to make a beat in it, then I'll make that video. But if I also want to just get in front of the camera and talk and get more comfortable with that, so that maybe you guys get value from some of the conversations that I have, through this medium, then so be it. But To get a little bit more specific, also, I just see so much change coming in the industry. That whole native instruments, like they were going into bankruptcy, or there was a mention about that. It made things come up in my radar about music, or just major news in that sector, because obviously I'm a producer. And I felt that a long time ago. And again, I'm not here to bash any company. I'm not here to promote any company. But I feel like this applies to me because I'm a consumer of these goods, right? Like, I bought the MK1 machine, or machina, however you pronounce it. I bought the MK1 machina, and I had it for a while. I made some dope beats on it. It was kind of like when I started to get serious, and when I started to buy outboard gear, when I started to get outside of Logic and into the, buying gear. And when they came out with the MK2, later on the MK3 or Machine 2.0, I couldn't update to that. And then I also couldn't download certain OS, like, because of my computer. I couldn't even download like the Machine 1.0, or I don't know, like, also my one of my encoders went bad, and I was already out of warranty. And I started to realize, especially Machine MK1, which is, and all of them besides the Plus, they were standalone. I started to realize, like this is just obviously a glorified controller. At least that's the way I saw it. The program was very powerful, but even then, like, I couldn't install it on my new OS, or even now, like, and I paid for this license. But I saw that we were getting into a place with technology where it was just like they want you to buy the new thing, right? Even Apple kind of got sued, I think, class action, because there was like making the phone batteries die quicker without nothing being wrong with the battery, so you get the new iPhone, right? And I feel like that's the world that we live in now. We're in a place with capitalism and companies. I guess that's how they survive, right? Like, and Sonic went bankrupt, if I'm not mistaken. But we need the next new thing, right? And if they can manipulate it so that you have to get the next new thing, then companies will do that. And that's kind of why I went with my 2000 XL, even though it is still a computer, it still has an OS. But whatever the last OS was on the MPC, and let me just look it up, because I'm it's operating system 1.2, which was released July 15, 2004, right? That's what it says there. And I had to update it to 1.2, because I think when I received this MPC, it was on 1.0, but you need 1.2 in order to put the compact flash reader in it. So I was able to order a floppy from eBay or MPC, actually MPCstuff.com. I ordered a floppy with OS 1.2 on it, inserted the floppy, upgraded it to 1.2, removed the floppy drive, and my boy Rivers, who does a lot of my repairs and technical stuff, because I was afraid back then to go in with soldering, and he installed this for me. Shout out Rivers. He also got to repair my tube tech. I got to buy the tubes and give him my tube tech, because it started making a weird noise. I think the tubes went out, and then I tried to mess with it myself and probably made it worse. But yeah, that's on the bench to get repaired. But anyway, my point is, that's it. Like, I'm not updating this 2000 XL because they never released any OS for it after, and it works. It just works. That's it. It doesn't have to. As long as I connect it to power, it's always gonna work. And there comes a point where we should stop updating. I don't always do it, but my computer, I don't keep updating it all the time. I have Logic now, so I did have to update my OS. Everything's working fine, but I'm not quick to just jump on like, new Logic was released not too long ago. I'm not jumping on that right away, because there's always bugs. There's always like things that don't work. And that's what I was afraid of with, like, going back to native industry, was just like, all right, well, like now my machine doesn't work. What do I do with this? Nobody wants to buy it. I can't even sell it unless I mean somebody did buy it, I think, but I don't remember how I got rid of it. I think my ex studio partner, he was able to sell it for me, and I guess somebody maybe had an old computer that they could connect it to and wanted it, but yeah, like I didn't want to continue just buying the newest thing and be like, all right, well, let me just get the MK. Like I didn't want to support that ecosystem, and there's another reason why I kind of bought Logic was because I know the new one is subscription based, but I won't be joining that. I'm always trying to like cut subscriptions. But yeah, like I'm like, no, I'm not buying into that model or having to buy a new Ableton when this one is done. Luckily, not luckily, I actually paid for the upgrade to 12. I was on 11 and 10. 10 I bought right before 11 came out, but shout out Ableton. They did give me 11 for free because I bought it like 2 months before 11 came out. So they let everyone, I think, that upgraded or bought it like within the last 2 or 3 months, like upgrade to 11 for free. But then when 12 came out, I did like some of the features. So I bought 12 or the upgrade to 12. And that's why I like FL, lifetime free updates. Shout out FL and Logic, I believe, has lifetime free updates too. You pay for it once and that's it. It's yours. If it works, leave it alone. I'm a big advocate for that. Same thing with the ASR. Is like I don't gotta update anything on it. It's like, if something gets messed up, I fix it, but it's always gonna work as a sampler, as a keyboard. And some of this stuff is like, you know, I see people like with the MPC, like, oh, it won't connect to Wi-Fi and it's not working or it's stuck on the load screen. And I just don't want to deal with those kind of issues when I'm creating. And I haven't used these new machines, so I can't talk too much about something that I haven't, put my hands on. But I remember going into Guitar Center and looking at an MPC one, and like the pads were not the same size as my 2000 XL, and not that they should be, but I was just like, oh, these pads are small. And I think the Live has like bigger pads, but or maybe the XL has bigger pads, but I'm just like, it didn't catch my attention. That's just the reality to it. I'm like, I already have pads and a drum machine at home. Why would I buy something just because it's new? And I think the more we get into that mentality, you don't have to think like me. And, I know these brands will probably hate me because I'm saying this, but you don't have to buy every shiny new toy that you see. Learn some of the stuff you have. And I'm speaking to myself instead of just buying new things, right? Like I said, the pedals and this was like the last thing I bought. And this is the old one. There's a new one that came out, 128, but I'm barely using this to its full potential. Why would I just, oh yeah, let me go buy it. Just because I can afford it doesn't mean I should buy it. Or just because it's new, there's nothing wrong with this one. And yeah, like I see like a Kai came out with a new drum machine, and it's probably amazing. I'm not here to bash a Kai. I use the MPC 2000 XL, so I love that they exist. I love them as a brand, as a company, but it doesn't make sense for me, at least. And if you have something already, if you're coming into the game new, you don't have a sampler, I think they are the best option for you right now, right? Because they're not mentioning that they're going into bankruptcy, and some of, like I mentioned, like producers, and I've seen them in the field with big producers, and I've seen pictures of Kanye working on albums, and there's a new MPC, one or a live in there. So they're functional, they're great, they do what they do, just not for me, right? Because I already have that. And if you don't, maybe that's the good option for you to get something new, because old machines, like I mentioned in another video, they do come with their issues as well. Some of them don't work. I've had to do a lot of, tact switches, repairs on the sensors, on the tact switches, on the screen which cracked, and I still have some buttons that don't, that I have to press them multiple times for them to work. So that, every tact switch, from what I'm aware of, has a click number where it just dies, like a million clicks and is done. And if these machines came out in 20 years ago, obviously they're coming near the end of life for that tack switch to just go out. So nothing is gonna be perfect, obviously, but that's the route that I decided to go with. It's like when you buy a used or vintage car, you gotta have a little nest egg, because you're gonna have to do repairs, or repairs are gonna come up that are not covered under warranty anymore. And you got to take it upon yourself. So that's something to know going into that. If you're a car collector, you know that going into a certain car, a certain vehicle, and you buy the ones that you like, right? And then you learn about them. And that's the fun in this. This is supposed to be fun. And I think that's all we're looking for. It's like having fun while we create. And let's get back to that, because this whole AI thing where it's just like everything's easy, I don't think that's the point. Like, that's not the point of creativity, is to be fast, or to make something go viral. And I mean, that those things don't call my attention. And I think people are more and more like getting offline or exhausted with these things. And I think we're gonna reach a point where the real comes back, like just vulnerability, expression, the whole point of art, the imperfection, and the people that are meant to be in the field. It's for everyone, but it's not just like type of prompt, make a song, put it up, and become a millionaire. I mean, if that's the result you get, then you're a genius, right? But I don't think that's why people go to music in the first place. Like, music is a way to like disconnect and connect at the same time, right? It reminds us of like beautiful moments. It changes our mood. It makes us either excited. It makes us want to dance. It makes us sad. Any emotion could be conveyed through music. And I don't think computers are the answer. Not computers, but like AI is the answer to that. To like, okay, we want art, at least that's what I want. I want to see the process. I want to see what comes out of it, like organically, not just like, okay, let me just get this thing to make me a loop, or get this thing. If you need it to help you, why not? Like, use it. You need a drum loop, you go on Splice, or you tell AI, or you go on Session Drummer on Logic, have it play for you. But also, like, put some of yourself in there, like I've been making music too, where I'm like not fixing the hi-hats or like the velocity, like just leaving some of that human feel in our music, because I think that's the future. Once we hit the peak of like, all right, we maxed out on AI, like, we're gonna come back to like, that's what made Dilla great. He didn't use timing correction. And mad people that probably watch this channel or are into MPCs, they look up to Dilla. That was his secret, right? He like used his internal groove, his internal rhythm to play things in without using the technology was in the 3000 that he was using, but he turned that thing off and like let it go. Let it go from him, let it come out of him, and chop things, not on the grid. And that's what's gonna make you unique. That's what's gonna make you have a sound. When things are just like perfect, it's not always like good for the art. And I'll end it there. I think this video is probably too long already, but I'll end it there. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for the supportive comments, and thank you guys for listening. If this was of value to you, let me know what other subject matters and what you guys think about what's going on in music right now, and leave some of that stuff in the comments, and that'll give me ideas to talk to what to talk about in the next video. So it's your boy Free Play, and I'm out. Peace.